looks like. Meatloaf Bailey, what a PR stunt. Look at me, guys. Yeah, I would do anything for pound notes. And I'm going to sit in a restaurant, and I'm going to look like, oh, I'm proper Chelsea, and I love Chelsea, and this is all on Siri Merchant Barley. What a load of bollocks.
Cucucucurea, se come una paella. Cucucucurea, se bebe una estrella. Jala, tiembla, que viene cucurea. Jala, tiembla, toma una galleta.
Greetings from Centre Parks, by the way. That's the background. I hope you're all well. This is just ridiculous, though, isn't it?
I work 20 hours per fucking day, and I don't accept that someone goes on Twitter with no face, with no name, just joking with myself and saying this kind of shit.
So have it right, up to Chelsea, up to Minerals FC. Big up to every single one of you live and locked in. Hope everyone's doing well in life. First and foremost, I want you all to smash to pieces that like button. If you haven't smashed it, smash it right now. The likes are poor, so let's get them up. We got the subscribe button, so make sure you smash that. Help us get to the 13K. We've got the notification bell, ding dong. Let's have it right. Smash that so you know when we go live, even though it doesn't really make a difference, but you know how it is. Let's go. Land it. And we've got the Minerals FC Ultras membership, which is down below in the description. Salute to all the Minerals FC Ultras. Land your minerals in the chat. Respect to all the proper Chelsea watching, and just big up to everyone. Tonight is a different kind of one tonight, where we're going to have someone on tonight who's going to make his debut on the Minerals FC. Die hard, no surrender, proper Chelsea, absolute heritage. And it's an honour to have him on the channel. You know what I'm saying? So I want everyone to welcome our Chelsea Ultra bruv and Minerals FC Ultra, Steve G, who's going to come and land his minerals. And we're gonna have a great show tonight. So respect to everyone. Respect to everyone. You know what I'm saying? We're going to land. Here we land. The minerals, bruv. Let's go. Big up to you, Stevie G, and welcome officially to the Minerals FC. What are we saying, my geezer?
Hello, mate. I was beginning to think you was talking about someone else and not me. It was like, hello. I mean, I'm feeling all privileged all of a sudden. But yeah, no, you're keeping all of the truth and the airwaves alive with what needs to get out. I mean, way too many are under the thumb, as everyone knows that follows Minerals FC. And keep it up, bruv. That's all I can say. I mean, you've got many followers that you don't know about, which are sitting in the shadows, which are not the sort that will come on YouTube, but they all totally back what you say. So you crack on, geezer.
Respect to everyone. Respect to everyone. And thank you again, like, coming on. And many more to come, 100%. But to before we get started on speaking the truth, maybe just give a little insight to all the Minerals FC supporters, the Ultras, just a small sample about yourself and you and Chelsea.
A few of the people in the chat know me and have spoken to me sort of off air, as you have, and Eunice, and know that I'm in my 60s. Been there since the age of 8 at the Bridge. Started following the team when we was pretty average, mid-table, Division 2. Went through all of the hard times, losing the ground, suspensions, bans from Europe. When I was old enough, I was like many that grew up around Stamford Bridge. was a bit of a toe rag. It tended to get my hands dirty, and before long, I made my way into the Headhunters, and it was a baptism of fire. There were some really good people in that, some lifelong friends, and there's a few people which are no longer with us, and obviously respect goes to their families and all of their friends because they will always be missed. But it's a generational thing. Not many people around the YouTube scene and social media are not really on it of my age. So there is a little bit of a generational gap between understanding of what is real Chelsea and what is not, because how some people may perceive real Chelsea, the old people might say they don't know they're born, and in some cases it's true. But if anyone wants to know anything, I'm happy to divulge what I can, but obviously there's some things I can't talk about. For obvious reasons, but that's me. Born and brought up in Chelsea, in Ifield Road, which is just two roads away from the bridge. Know the area. Still got family that live there, and fire away. Anything you want to know, run it by myself or Johnny.
Let's have it right, and big up to you, Steve, for coming on. Because, like I say, it is an honour to have someone of yourself and everyone with you supporting the channel. It brings something different to the channel. It brings realness. It brings Chelsea. You know what we do. What the reason we do the channel is because we love our football club. We love football. We love Chelsea.
100%. You know, we all love the one thing, which is the club, and it hurts literally like your best friend stealing your girlfriend every time something happens with the club. And seeing what Clear Lake are doing to this club, it's terrible. Screwed Roman over and screwing the fans over, or customers as they like referring to us. It's just not on. And the sooner fans actually do start uniting and not being gullible to all of the crap coming out by the PR machine and the blue ticks and all of that on things like Twitter, the club will be in a much better place.
100%. And I've got to say it, you're giving me goosebumps because it just feels to me like I've got Chelsea old boy. It's very. I'll be real with you. I can feel it. So. And I want to salute Chelsea old boy, who was instrumental and part of this channel, who passed away, and we see things they'll never see, and it's just lovely. It's proper. It's
lovely. I mean, I'm glad I'm sort of like rekindle that little memory for you. Hopefully, I'm not going anywhere soon.
No. Let's hope not. Come on, many more years. Come on. But yeah, you're right. Our club has been intoxicated for all the wrong reasons, not the right reasons, for polluting our football club with all the brown envelope matrix, the media, the blue ticks, the copy and paste merchants, the actual journalists that are not even journalists, that don't even do their job properly. They don't tell the truth. They're here to just set narratives for clubs and agents, as we know. But this is the thing, right? Before, when we had Roman, and salute our Don Roman, always, we always perceived the media against us, right? And this is a fact. There was always a campaign against Chelsea. Jose Mourinho said it. All the supporters knew it, and it was like the siege mentality of Chelsea was it's us against the world. And Jose brought that. Roman brought that because the FA, he had MI5 in his pocket, he had governments, he had real estate. I mean, he was basically untouchable, and because he was hated on just that, on that alone, because we were successful because of the mentality he brought and the driven ambition to spend the money to win instantly, and it's just like no patience, just win now. And if you don't, you're out the door. And his success that he brought made everyone hate us even more. He was the reason FFP come into play. So when you look at that, and there's a reason I'm saying this is, I was always the media against us. So when we had Tuchel, when we had Roman, and before that, I knew exactly how the media rolls out and how they feed an agenda on our football club, on our players, on situations. How everyone else, like, they're very pro United, pro Liverpool. You know, you've seen how it is with Kloppy and all that, the veneer merchant.
100%.
But now it's different. Now, because Roman never used brown envelopes, he never used the media. We didn't know nothing unless you had inside information or you knew someone. You wouldn't know nothing that's going on behind the scenes with Don Roman. Yeah, Marina kept it tight. Emanala at that point, Peter Kenyon. You know, listen to what we're saying here. And now we got Kerry Stanley, Stuart Little, yes man tax, yes man mentality, a dictatorship from Clown Lake. But they used the media and they used the brown envelopes to push out their mouthpiece and their narrative. Now, the reason I'm saying this, Steve, is yesterday on Monday Night Football, Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville came out and basically slandered us, all right? Whether you like it or not. Just take it from someone from the outside. Basically criticize, you know, where's Felix going to get changed? You know, where are the players? Look, it's like pure gym. You know, like I've said, it's like Reading Festival at Cobham. Freezing out players. It's a shambles. It's a mess. They're not going to get top four. You know what I'm saying? Now, when you look at Gary Neville, he talks absolute garbage, brother.
Always.
You know, we know that. All right. And Jamie Carragher as well, the old spit merchant. But the bottom line is this. They're actually saying it for what it is. And all of a sudden, because it's coming from a dipper or it's coming from a mank, everyone is losing their heads going, oh, look at them. They're all against Chelsea. They hate us. They're jealous of us. But that's not the case.
It's always been like that.
It's always been like that. But I'm talking in this specific moment of time where we are as a football club, how we are, the condition we are. It's like rivals are speaking our narrative on here. And now it's come as publicised from Monday Night Football because of where they've come from. Straight away, Chelsea armour goes on. And rightly so, we should have Chelsea armour, bruv, against all them lot. But you have to respect that they're actually pushing the correct narrative. But it's the ones that are not pushing that narrative are going siege mentality that are very pro-Clown Lake. And this is where it's interesting for me because on a normal situation, all right, under Don Roman, I'd be coming for their throats. But they're actually speaking the truth. They're saying what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And this is where it's a very uncomfortable conversation where now people like myself will be deemed as an agenda on my football club. Well, everyone says that anyway because of what we say on here and how we say it. But the reality of the situation is, yes, we're only signing kids. What do we need Felix for? Like, we've got how many number 10s and wingers? What about a goalkeeper? What about a central defender to replace Thiago Silva and probably Trev Chalobah? What about a striker? What about the core of the team? What about what John Obi Mikel says about experience? And they were coming at John Obi Mikel as well, slandering our legend. So this is what I'm talking about, is that there is a mass amount of supporters or fans, and whether they're international or whatnot, that are gunning for our legends, for speaking the truth, and they're now gunning for Carragher and Neville. Whether you like it or not, when someone speaks the truth, you have to put your hands up and go, "That's it. You're saying it for what it is," and that's all I see. So what's the big deal here? Why are all these wrong-uns now coming out going, oh, we need to unite. It's too toxic at the bridge. Why are you chanting Conor Gallagher? Because he's one of our own. He's been absolutely gutted out and forced out like Mason Mount,
100%.
like Trev Chalobah. So we hold value in Cobham. And we know what these players bring to Chelsea, which when you look at our team, especially against City and against in pre-season, what fucking state was that? Where was that siege mentality? Where was that die for the badge? Where was that off-the-ball work rate? Where was that mentality? Where is it? Where's that Chelsea DNA? It's nowhere to be seen. And
no, you're quite right. About Chelsea
Gallagher,
DNA has been erased.
Yeah, of course. The soul's gone. There's literally the soul's been stripped of us. They've sold us soul for the pound note.
I mean,
Pretty much.
people don't realise what it was like pre-Roman coming in. Back in the day when Ken Bates was in charge, and things started turning around when he brought in people like Glenn Hoddle and Rude Hullet, and suddenly we had one black player in the club at the time in the early 80s, which was Paul Canaveral.
Yeah.
And he went through hell, with all of the racism and stuff like that back then. But then the club started to evolve, and suddenly foreign players were coming in. And Ken Bates saw the future. And this is what I think attracted Roman. And then Roman created a family, which was Chelsea FC. And his arms were around the fans. They were around the staff. They were around everyone. He protected everybody. He would have nobody putting down his club. And to see the difference between what Roman built and what Clearlake are destroying is like two different worlds. The club is technically no more until they see the light or sell up and jog on.
Yeah. And that's spot on. We've seen change from pre-Roman with Batesy all the way through to Roman and now to what we got now. And it's like chalk and cheese, isn't it? I mean, it's just light years apart. I mean, everything about what Clown Lake have done to our football club is the complete opposite, in an inverted way, of what Roman did when he came in. And people have the cheek, like Simon Jordan, the biggest PR merchant for Clown Lake, going, "Oh, well, if it wasn't for Clown Lake, Chelsea would be in administration and liquidated." Bollocks. Our club was never going to go down. Never. And Roman wouldn't allow it. He didn't even have the power. If Roman really wanted to, let's be real, he could have gone, "Do you know what? Fuck the lot of you. Let it go down. No one's going to have it." Right? And in some ways, maybe he should have, the way we are now.
I actually think you're quite right there, to be fair. I mean, even if you look at just what Clearlake have done, from what Clearlake have done since they have come in, and we look at just that, they have erased any trace of Roman and what he has built. And then they've messed about with things that they shouldn't have touched. We was a football powerhouse. And I think we have regressed back to even pre-Bates era. Clearlake have taken us back over 25 years. And it's probably going to take another 7 years on the right track to rebuild. But we're far away from the right track. We never sold players to rivals, ever. We would rather they sit and rot in reserves like your Winston Bogardis and people like that. And we sat there for 3-4 years on full wages. Roman would rather set fire to money than give Spurs a drop of water if they was all sort of dehydrated. You don't do things like that. You've got to realise the Chelsea roots and DNA. If you don't understand that, then you're supporting the wrong club.
Yeah.
We bleed blue for a reason.
Yeah, that goes for the new gen supporters, which is what Clown Lake are focusing on, clearly, with all the PR. That is their forefront. We're going to go and get the new gen fan, the one that can be moulded into how we want them to be. But the old guard, the old school, the actual life and heart and soul of Chelsea, home and away Europe, they want to eradicate that and just get rid of it. They want to exile that, like they want to exile Cobham players for pound note. And they want to increase season tickets. They continue to do that, increase prices, everything, you name it. And this is where it is now. It's like these lot do not understand the culture. They do not understand the heritage of Chelsea, but they're quite happy to live off it. Do you know what I'm saying? They're quite happy to do what they want to do, using and abusing our heritage and our success over Don Roman by slandering Roman, feeding agenda on Roman. You know what I'm saying?
This is what money men do at the end of the day. As soon as people realise Clearlake are not owning Chelsea for football reasons, they are only owning Chelsea for money. if you look at everything they're doing in terms of players they're buying and assets they're selling and the way that they are treating players when they're no longer wanted is a disgrace. It's just not how you do it. But if you follow the money trail, then it makes perfect sense. Everyone to them is a pound note. And if you treat people like a pound note, they're just a number. And that is exactly how the players, the assets, everything is like that. And eventually, when they decide to go, we all pray in 7 years, if not sooner.
Yeah.
I look forward to when the club goes up for sale, because suddenly the hotels will be sold for maybe 160 million instead of the 80 they paid. The women's team will suddenly jump in value as the women's game progresses. Stoll Mansions is only gaining value the longer it sits. Property always goes up in Chelsea area, never down.
Yeah.
And they stand to make a killing on two fronts. Or they could play hardball and go, yeah, we'll sell you the club, but we're not selling you the hotel unless you pay X, Y, Z. And they are just treating all of us as a cash cow for their personal bank accounts.
Yeah.
It's just a disgrace.
It is a disgrace. And you're spot on, because they've blamed it all on FFP. PSR is the reason they sold the hotels to themselves, the car park, the common training ground. And we all know damn well that they just wanted the excuse to do that because they want the real estate. That's a gold mine. And in fact, they bought extra land in Cobham. So I wouldn't be surprised, like I've said before, they'll relocate the training ground somewhere cheaper for them, lower overheads, build it the way they want to build it, and they'll build real estate like Levy's done with Spursy, where Cobham is, and make their money. Do you know what I'm saying? Because they're not going to be able to rebuild our stadium, and they're not going to be able to relocate CPO. So, that's the only thing they can do.
Yeah, really. I mean, I know Cobham quite well because I've got pals that actually live in and around the training ground and quite close to where John Terry lives and stuff. And we've seen some of the land that's earmarked for sort of redevelopment, because it's quite a green belt money area, and the only thing that people understand in that area is money. So Clear Lake are right at home.
Yeah.
But with what they're doing with the academy, they're basically making the academy redundant, because by buying all of these kids from South America, Mexico, Africa, you name it, the kids are thinking, well, what's the point in going to the academy now? And like you've said in the past, they're all jumping ship. And even Jody Morris and Joe Cole and people like that, although they're still technically on the club's payroll for various events and stuff, but even they've had enough, and they're starting to come out with the truth now. And gradually it's all coming out, and before long it's going to blow up. And we hope we are all there at the time it does blow up, and we can stand up against these Americans who really think they can take the piss out of every single Chelsea fan and look at us like mugs.
Yeah. And I'm not having it. And that pies and mash, he needs to grow up and stop living in his mum's basement and trying to be a journo, trying to come at the supporters of home and away in Europe. Because we're too toxic. Well, this is not toxic. You ain't seen nothing if you think this is toxic. This is not, mate.
Nah.
You know, if we want to chant Conor Gallagher, if we want to chant Don Roman, there's nothing you lot can do about it.
Of course.
You're just there to push the narrative for these clowns to make everything simmer down, because we got a shiny new toy that you love called João Felix, who's been a fucking disaster anywhere he's gone, and no one actually wants him. Now, whether you like him or don't like him, it doesn't mean all of a sudden it's toxic positivity again. For what reason? Even if you got me Ivan Toney and Osimhen, it still doesn't cut it. There's still too much surgery that needs to be done on this team.
Yeah.
This squad of 45 players. You know, it's an embarrassment that you've spent all this money and you're flipping them left, right, and centre. Ones that you've bought yourselves. You're selling a year later players that you're buying. They did it with Koulibaly and all these guys. And now they're doing it with their own young'uns that they're saying these guys are going to grow and evolve with Chelsea and they're going to develop. What development? Where's the development? Strasbourg? From Strasbourg, where are they going? Or getting sold? There is no development. There is no intent to build a super youth team like they keep promoting. So when you get all these little mouthpieces coming out defending because they've got a shiny new toy, it's a fucking embarrassment. And the reason I say that is you can clearly see we are worlds apart from Manchester City. They were not even out of first gear. Kevin De Bruyne got the ball at one point, and it was just like, yeah, left, right, put my foot on it a little bit. Where do I pass it? Fucking ages. He's got the world to think about what his next step is. Why? Why are you allowing these players to play like that? Where's all this intensity, this diehard mentality, this unity that we're so-called building with Enzo Mascara? You know what I mean? It's like we all know, we can see with our own eyes, right? And we know football long enough. What works, what don't work. And what they're doing has never worked in the history of football. So why is everyone so like Gary Neville said, well, what are they so convinced that they everything they're doing is just like going to work? It's, you know, what are they doing that's no one else is doing? Most people buying players. Mate, did you see on Sky Sports, Steve? Yeah. We've got all of our contracts of all the players they bought. Do you know how long it is? 118 years. 118 years. All right? That's not even like a life sentence. That's literally death row. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah, without doubt. I mean, who would you say the two best teams, I would say probably in European football at the moment? Man City and Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. Now, I remember when Man City were coming up from obscurity to what they are now. And I remember Pep, when he first took over at Man City, in one of his team briefings that was filmed on Sky, he went, I watched Chelsea. They are doing this. They are doing that. Why can't we do this? And he used Chelsea as the role model to create the City of today. And it's turned them into what we were. And we've regressed back into what Man City were. Man City weren't that long ago. They weren't even in the Premiership. And the way we're carrying on with no clue, no direction, no backbone, and no Chelsea DNA, we'll end up back down there soon enough. We'll have to start all over again.
And it's the thing. Something very important people got to understand, right? Let's just say, argument's sake, Sterling and Trev don't go. All right? They're going to be there, whether they're training with under 23s, under 21s, whether they're mistreated, which they are already. We know that.
Yeah.
But if you allow that in Cobham, and these players that are playing are aware of this, yeah, all that brings you is toxic negativity. That brings you a divide. That brings you just a toxic environment, right? And these clowns are ruthless with just getting rid of whatever they don't want. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They don't value nothing. They don't value absolutely nothing. There's no human values for these clowns. The disrespect they show, whether we like Sterling, rate him, whatever, the disrespect is outrageous. With Trev Chalobah, the disrespect is outrageous. Connor, Mason Mount, players like things I knew from 2 years ago. All right, this is why I am trying to educate for all this time. And now you got Feldactor Jennings, Talk Sport, Andy Jacobs calling him Clown Lake. You got everyone, just all the rivals, everyone's speaking. If you've noticed, if you watch it, they are speaking like us. They're speaking like the Minerals FC. Yeah. Why? Because they're speaking the truth. Pat Nevin did it. Yeah. And he got exiled. Yeah. And do you know what he come out today? I heard today. He was talking about Kai Havertz. He's saying he's unbelievable. He goes, what a player he is. Everyone that plays with him knows. These are the things I say. These are the things I know. He's Pat Nevin, man. Like, do you think Pat Nevin's saying get rid of him? No chance. Is he saying get rid of Mount? No chance. He didn't agree with the way that the direction that these clowns were taking our football club, because everything they do, all right, is you'll see majority of these players that are coming in, they'll get flipped as well. And it will just be an ongoing conveyor belt. And there is no process. They don't even believe in their own process. So it's like, what process are you buying into? You're just feeding them more time. And the more time they get, the more money they spend. Stop spending money. No more money. Stop
It's
buying.
simple, isn't it? Yes, it's simple. We've gone from no debt to being in debt to up to our eyeballs, with worrying about FFP and God knows what, which we didn't have to worry about before. And it's crazy. And we've been sanctioned. We've had fines. We've had so much done against us. Equally, that Everton and Nottingham Forest have. And let's hope Man City get theirs, because they're due a good slap on the wrist for that 115 charges. But let's see if anything comes of it, because if we don't, we certainly know there was a brown envelope under the desk on that one.
Well, they actually donated, I'll say donated, a nice meaty brown envelope of, I think it was about, I don't know if I'm right on this, whether it was about 10 billion to the old government. Yeah. So maybe the FA want a piece of that pie, you know? Maybe the governing bodies want a piece of that pie in football terms, and City haven't given it, so now they're holding them to ransom to do a deal to wipe off the 150 charges. While City got 115 charges, we've got about 115 players at this rate. I mean,
there is that to it.
We are literally like they're laundering, or they're washing money, from what I can see.
100%. Look at Kellyman. I mean, what the hell was he bought for? Before we was interested in him, he was valued at 900k. When the deal was done, we paid 20 million for him. What's all that about?
It's mad. and he's meant to be the new Havertz. And let's go back to Roman would never sell. He fought I know Roman fought tooth and nail for Kai Havertz. Like, he actually loved this player, paid a lot of money for him, was up against Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. All these guys, Liverpool at one point, were all after him, and we got him. And I remember that hit when we signed him, because I went on Talk Sport saying we need to sign this guy, right? He went and won the Champions League in his first season with us, right? You know what I'm saying? He landed it. He brought us the holy grail of trophies, our second star. That's why we are the biggest club in London, the most elite. So have it right. But he would never have sold Havertz to Arsenal. He'd never sold Mason Mount. He was building around Mason Mount. That was his Cobham boy. Like, and this is what I'm saying. Why is it fucking all right for these clowns to come in and everyone sponsors it? You're feeding agendas on these players, right, that actually delivered at our football club, were loved and respected by Don Roman, who's the best owner, the owner that brought us all the success, which made all these little melts support Chelsea. Why is it fucking all right that you lot are all propping Enzo Fernandez all of a sudden? Like, this guy's delivered everything at Chelsea. This guy's captain worthy. Like, look at the agendas. How much they've just put pure poison into our football club, and influencers and all these platforms that don't love Chelsea. They just don't. Because if you did, you would be against all of these decisions. You would be against what Clown Lake are doing. You know, it's clear as day what they're doing is not for the love of the club and the best interest of the club. For fucking hell, they can't even build a first team. How can you not build a first team, but you're trying to do everything else? I mean, make it make sense.
No, I totally agree, bruv. I mean, let's face it, after the defeat to City, we all felt that something was going to happen with a new player coming in. And lo and behold, it was Felix, and they was bounding around that positive PR around him. To me personally, he's an okay player, but he is not the answer.
No.
And what was the point in signing Dewsbury Hall? You know, because he's not going to get a game. A lot of the players they've only just signed aren't going to get a sniff. I mean, you can only get so many midfielders in the team. Meanwhile, we've got a gaping hole straight through the middle of our centre-backs. Colwill has been playing like shit pre-season and now. Fofana isn't much better. Badiashile, for what he did in pre-season, as far as I'm concerned, he should never wear a Chelsea shirt again. He could have saved a goal easily and decided, sod that. I'll break sweat if I do that. Yeah. We're just ripped apart. We've got no centre-backs. I mean, the only player that plays centre-back that showed anything about him was Tosin. Now, bear in mind, he's only average anyway. He's nowhere near Chelsea level. But if that's all we've got, we're stuffed. And then they do what they do to Petrovic and make Sanchez number one. Even though with his dirty, great big clown feet, he can't play out from the back anyway. If you play Sanchez, he has to play long ball. It's the only way you can use him. And no striker.
No striker. And Trevor's clear of every single centre-back we got.
100%. I'd have him in the team right away.
Right. And you know, against City, he'd not allow Haaland to do that. He'd make it much more difficult for Haaland. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, this guy's allowed to just body two central defenders, Cucurella coming in with his mop head, you know, Brillo pad, and he's got the audacity to just dink Sanchez. He's madness to me, bro. But this is my thing. They go, Felix was always on the cards. He fits in Enzo Mascara's system. He's exactly what they want for Enzo Mascara. What are we doing here? If that was the case, why don't you get him before pre-season? The guy's available, clearly.
Yep.
Why were you going for Samuel Madorian that no one knew about? And all of a sudden, because Atletico Madrid won't pay you the money because they want to offload a player, you've got to decide, all right, we'll go for Felix. We've been offered Felix. It's a joke. Like, Felix is a number 10, really, right?
Yeah.
Let's have it right. He's a number 10. He's not a false 9 for me. He doesn't play on the left or the right for me. And at the end of the day, we've got Mudryk. We've got Neto now. We've got Sterling. We've got Madueke. We've got Cole Palmer. All right, all wingers. We've got Nkunku maybe playing a wing, which I don't think is his best position. And then in the number 10 role, we're being told Cole Palmer's going to play number 10. We're told Wedding Hall's going to play number 10. We're told Nkunku's going to play number 10. So why do you need João Felix? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Not at all. We should have gone for the striker first, and then maybe if there was a deal to be done for Felix afterwards, maybe gone to him if it meant getting Sterling and Mudryk out the door.
Exactly. And this is my thing. Now, I'm hearing it's Ivan Toney. Osimhen ain't coming to Chelsea because he doesn't trust we'll get Champions League. So I've always said it, and everyone knows on the channel, I just don't believe Osimhen's coming to Chelsea.
No, I don't.
And these clowns will only give a loan. Now, I think Ivan Toney is actually he's probably less risk, all right? He's not going to be as expensive, and he's proven, right? And it's something that we need desperately up front. We need a bit of guile, a bit of experience, a bit of he's got a bit of variation to his game.
And he's got a bit of edge, almost like Costa.
Yeah. Now, would I say Ivan Toney's my number fucking one of if I could have any striker? No. But the way these clowns move in the market, I'd rather have him than nothing or just Sloshpot Jackson or Felix up front. That would drive me insane. But my worry is this, right? Felix is going to sign for big dough. They're saying, he's dropping his wage. He's got bonuses. He's going to be on a good wage. Let's have it right.
I reckon he'll be on about 180 a week.
Yeah. And I think everyone's, Paulstein's saying he's cost 40 something million. Someone else reported it's close to 75 million. I think it's closer to 60 million, but they're not going to let you know that. All right. Now, you paid a lot of money for him. He's going to play, right? So if he's playing, what you bought Neto for? Neto's better on the right, but you're going to play Cole on the right. So Neto's going to play on the left because it looks like Sterling's going to go if they can, or he's exiled. And Mudryk ain't just landing nothing at this moment in time except Zoom calls with Usain Bolt. And then on a Madueke might be going Newcastle, I think. So Neto might play on the right, and then that leaves Nkunku to maybe fill right or left in games.
Yeah.
So that means what? Are you telling me Nkunku and Drewsby Weddinall, who's Enzo's player, is just going to sit on the bench because Felix is going to play with Cole Palmer and Neto, and then maybe Ivan Toney up front, which means Jackson on the bench. Now, hear me out. If you're playing Felix as a number 10, right, you need two absolute bisons in the midfield. Like, you need legs. You need off-the-ball work rate, pressing, recovery. breaking the lines. And I mean to a proper level, all right? Now, Caicedo ain't an N'Golo Kante, yeah? He can't be two players on the pitch. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't got that. He might. Maybe he gets to that. I don't think he will ever be.
I don't think he ever had that, even when he was in form at Brighton. He was never really that man.
No. So Enzo ain't giving you that, and they're relentlessly shoehorning Enzo on the first team sheet because he's a captain now. All right? Disgusting. So
Fuck knows how he made being captain. He greased somebody's palm.
Well, let's have it right. It's all PR, isn't it? Protecting their investment. And Enzo Mascara is a yes man. And everyone's saying he's a yes man. It's clear as day. They don't want to degrade him, but at the end of the day, he's degrading himself by taking this contract. Nagelsmann rejected it. Enrique rejected it. Jose Mourinho even rejected it to a point. All right. What's his name? McKenna rejected it. Because there's something called the love of the game. There's something called doing it the right way. Being able to manage and do your job properly and build a team and have a legacy and try and win. All right. Enzo's come for his payday. I think he's a stepping stone at Chelsea. Pochettino's put an Instagram post today with his feet up with his dog on his lap, looking at that geezer on Sky Sports, talking about Chelsea with 191 years of contracts, for the players. He's laughing, bruv. He wanted out. You know what I'm saying? People are blaming Felix not staying because of Pochettino, you brown envelopes. I know the truth. And the truth is, Poch had no say. They couldn't afford him. End of story. Now look at him. They're trying to penny pinch to get him. All right? And he's so desperate to leave Atletico because he knows he's not playing. All right? He's getting the same treatment as, say, Sterling right now or a Trev. I don't think to that level, to be honest. But at the end of the day, he's getting some sort of treatment from Diego Simeone. And that's it. He's taking this. No one else has come in for him. That tells you everything you need to know. Even a geezer that speaks on Spanish football, I think he's an ex-goon as well. I can't remember his bloody name. All right. He come out and says he's been a disaster everywhere he's gone. He's not really lived up to it. He needs a manager to build around him. He needs a manager to love him. Well, no one clearly does. No one has built with him. And when we had him at Chelsea, he got 4 goals, no assist. Everyone was propping this guy like he's the next Zidane. It's just
and then he had a brain melt and got sent off.
Yeah, in the first game, Fulham away. It's just like, stop buying into people that buy into this whole narrative. Fabrizio pushed it out. Pochettino didn't want him. Piss off with that. Like, stop the nonsense, because I know it's not true. And these are the things that rattle me. Is that I keep seeing things from all these brown envelopes that are outright bullshitters. They're lying. They're lying to all the supporters to feed the narrative. And, the owners and the directors wanted Felix. Well, if you wanted him, why didn't you pay 80 million that Atletico wanted and the 300 grand a week he was on when he was on loan to us? Oh, that's right. You don't want to speak on that. You want to blame it on Poch, who can't speak for himself, because if he does, he's not going to continue to get paid by you lot. Just like Jellyfish Potter, who's still what? He's still got 3 years, is he? 3 years left on 12 million a year. That's why he ain't said nothing or taken a job. It's embarrassing. And now we got 2.0 Jellyfish Potter now. 3.0 with Enzo Mascara, a bloated squad.
What you've got to realise is like, this is social media, though. I mean, you think what Chelsea was like pre-social media. You didn't have all of these PR journalists and all that putting out the crap. If you was lucky, you went to the bridge. They used to sell newspapers outside the ground, Chelsea News and stuff like that. That was the only place you found out about what was going on with the club, unless you opened a programme on match day. And these journalists are all a product of modern society and money men. And as long as Clearlake own our club, we are going nowhere. And just look at the values they're putting on players. I mean, how can you get rid of someone like Broja for 30 million? And then look at the value what you've just got for Connor, or about to get for Connor. And then Trev. And it's like, this is just craziness. It makes no sense. To me, Broja was like a £10 million player, and quite frankly, I would have took it. That 30, they must be getting a backhander from Hull or wherever he's gone.
Ipswich. If they stay up, they'll get we get 30 million or something, right?
Lovely deal if it pans out.
Yeah, lovely deal. But are Ipswich going to stay up? I don't think they will. I don't know. I've to see what they're like this season. Let's see how it pans out. But obviously, we want them to stay up because we get the 30 million, or these clowns will
course.
get it to go and buy more kids from Brazil. But my thing is, Trev Chalobah, they said they want 25 million for him. All of a sudden, they've publicly exiled him, thrown him in with the under 23s or under 21s at this rate. The guy's suffering. God knows what he's going through mentally right now.
Yeah.
And no one gives a shit about that. All the Chelsea supporters on social media don't give a toss about Trev. You know what I'm saying? They actually think that what we got's better than Trev. They're out of their minds. But now they want 35 million for a player that they valued at 25 million, who's actually got 3 years left on his contract. It's bad business. It's buy high, sell low. Like, how are you making billions? The reason they're making profit, Steve, is because they're spreading these long contracts. And on these long contracts, whatever they buy these players for is divided over that length. I think it's a 5-year cap at the moment because of what they were doing with 9 years and 8 years. But even when they extend it, it still gets on the books. And let's not forget, and I'll give you Noni Madueke as a prime example, right? They bought him for about 25 million or something. Now, we had him for 2 seasons because I think he was one of the first batch who came.
Yes.
All right. So, and Chukwuemeka, 80 million we bought him. Now, did you know every year they depreciate by about 17 to 20% on the books? Their value will depreciate. Every player. That just goes across the board. I've heard Simon Jordan speak about it, lots of people and everything. So every year it's going down. 2 years, he's depreciated 20%, 40% of 25 million and of 80 million. So when they're asking for 60 million or 55 million for Madueke over 2 years, you do the maths, that's profit there, right? Not only that, think about Chukwuemeka. Who's wanted by, is it Barcelona? This is madness to me, all right? They want 40 million for him.
Yeah.
That's like almost, that's more than 30 million profit. Right?
Yeah. This is their under 25 model though, isn't it? This is what they want.
Yeah. And they've advertised him at Chelsea for a couple years. Petrovic, 1 season, and then he's going to get loaned or sold. That Moreira they bought, the Portuguese player, on a free, they didn't even buy him. They sold him to their own club, Strasbourg, that they own, for 6.8 million, but PR'd that it was only 1.4.
Yeah. And they had the cheek to say Roman was corrupt.
Right. And they want to go, oh, FFP, please, sir, just give us community service. We'll let you know what Roman's done. Bollocks. They would never have found out. There's no way they would find out. If they didn't find out with Don Roman, why are they going to find out now? Someone explain to me. How are they going to find out? We're going as far back as when we bought Hazard. 2012 we bought him.
Yeah.
What are we doing now?
At the end of the day, Roman was an accomplished businessman. He was a billionaire on his own. He might have been an oligarch and all the rest of it, but, he was an honourable person. When he bought Chelsea, he didn't buy Chelsea with an agenda that think I'm going to spin this club and make a few bob on them. He decided, I love this club. I'm going to invest in it and I'm going to make them the best. And he did.
Yeah. And when he took over the club, he said, they were asked, what were you there to make money and profit? He said he laughed. He says, I'm not here to make profit. It's too risky. Football. I'm here to win and be successful and have fun, And he brought in, this is the difference in levels and mentality and true. When you talk about these clowns have got ambition, all right? Roman's ambition, he come in, he looked at the biggest clubs in England, like running the game at the moment. That was Sir Alex with United. You had the specialist in failure with Arsene Wenger, right? And then you look at Real Madrid, being Real Madrid. And what did he go and do? He went to Man United and said, bring me Peter Kenyon.
Yep.
And I'll pay you double what you're on. And I want you to tell me what they're looking at. They were looking at Iron Robin, for example, and we went and got Iron Robin, and we all know how that panned out. Yeah. Roman was that ruthless. I don't know if you remember, you'll remember, Steve, but I don't know if the Ultras remember. he tried to get Sir Alex to come. He actually offered Sir Alex.
I do remember that.
Yeah, he tried to buy Thierry Henry. He was going for anyone. He didn't care. He was like, "I'll buy you. I want to build my super team."
All you've got to remember is
team, a super team, a Galactico team.
When he took over at Chelsea, you got to think who was the main teams at the top of the Premiership then. And he targeted all of those teams and go, right, I'm having that, I'm having that, and I'm having that. And no matter what the wages were or what the fee was, he did it. And he made it happen.
Mate, we had Steven Gerrard getting death threats, all right, because Jose Mourinho was that close to signing him. You know, he wanted to come to Chelsea, if you remember. And then they sent the old, fellas there, knock on his door, threaten to break his legs. And he said, yeah, I'm all right, I'm going to stay. Do you know what I mean? So we were ruthless. It didn't matter where they played, who they played for. We're gonna have you. You come to us. While we're signing Ballacks, and players like that, what we're signing now in midfield. Like, look at the difference of what we're signing. Wedding Hall now. We're signing Chukwuemeka. We're signing, Enzo Fernandez. It's just like, it's embarrassing. We're basically the Seagull merchants, but with an elite shell. Because they're exactly. A tin pot. They're a teapot.
What the club are doing at the moment, they're living off of the past history built before they took over. So you're seeing all of these rerun videos that are appearing on Chelsea's own channel. Look at the top goals scored on opening day of the Premiership and stuff like that. The most recent one out. Well, how did that go against City?
And they go, oh, don't worry, it's the first game of the season, and look, we're playing the best team in the country. Well, how come under Pochettino we drew both games? Someone explain to me. Because why? Our team's weaker. We got no Thiago Silva. We got no Gallagher in the midfield, who was the first name.
We got no spine.
We got no spine. We didn't have a spine last year, and yet Poch managed to galvanise something near the end.
Yeah.
And when he got it right, everyone's going, "Oh, keep Poch now, keep him," because we're building momentum. And I think if we had more games, we might have got top four with the way we were playing, with no Enzo Fernandez in the midfield. What a surprise! Conor Gallagher of Casado was a nice little balance there, and that's what I'm saying. When you've got two workhorses, they've got the ability, and Casado's got the ability to score from the halfway line and save it right. But Connor's got a goal in him as well. But they'll do the work. If you've got two of those generals there, then you can have a little Pirra in Felix or a number 10 that you don't have to rely on doing dog work. Do you know what I mean? And then you've got the license for your attack to just, still show some defensive responsibility, but also attack. But listen, I want to talk about Sterling, because I know you're not the biggest fan of Sterling, and to be honest with you,
I appreciate what Sterling did and what he was, and what a great player. For me, he's never done it in a Chelsea shirt. He will play one really good game, and you think, oh well, we've got to play him in the next game, and then Poch, whoever, will pick him, and he'll play like a dog shit. And you think,
can I counter that?
Go for it.
I hear everyone say this, and there's one thing that we have to understand, right? And I'm not really defending Sterling, because at the end of the day, I didn't really want to sign him. And I think he just wanted to come to London and Chelsea, and it worked out, and they got Tuchel on the phone, and that's how it happened. But in his defence, and it goes for a lot of players, and especially under the Potter era, all right, the one thing, there's something called context. And the context for me is, where did we have any consistency as a whole in the team? Where were we allowed to build chemistry, relationships, momentum? We never were, because we had a bloated squad. We had players that are misprofiled, playing all the time because of yes man tax. And I think that's why you get that inconsistency, even with the experienced players. There will be inconsistency because they're playing with players who left. So that's where I'd say, in his defence. Do I think, though, that he's what we need. I think he's better than Mudryk. Like,
well, that's quite easily. I'd
Yeah,
rather
and
play
then-
bloody Mascara than bloody Madrid.
and this is the thing where everyone goes about Enzo's got, you know, he's told him he's surplus to requirements and it's a technical decision. Well, you're being very, you know, technical with bollocks, old Enzo, because you've been told, because Sterling knew before the statement was released, I think he knew on the Saturday or Friday.
Friday, he found out on a Friday.
Yeah, so it was orchestrated before the game. Maybe that adds a nice little bit of salt to the wound of Clown Lake. But
Yeah.
I'm all for that because it's disgraceful how he's been treated. And
I agree. Whether I like Sterling or not,
Yeah.
he's still a human. He still wears the Chelsea shirt. He
yeah,
deserves respect, as does
Yeah.
any of the players put in that position.
exactly. So the one thing we lack is experience, right? And you could say Sterling does have experience. As he had the best opportunity to deliver in a Chelsea shirt, in all fairness.
No, of course not.
Yeah. So do I think Sterling's that player that carries a team? No.
No, he's
never
not a
been-
worker.
He's a worker, he's a system player, but he needs to have a system and a core built with him for him to excel in what he does. And that's how Pep got the best out of him, playing in false nine or whatever, poaching
Yeah.
goals. We're not built that way. So nothing really set up for Sterling for him to perform anyway. So it's like, well, why'd you fucking buy him then? Why are you
Yeah.
paying him 325 grand a week, who's still got 3 years on his contract? They deserve this, really. They
Oh
deserve
yeah,
it.
without a
'Cause
doubt.
I'm hearing he's not going to go. I'm hearing he's staying put.
He's
and-
going to do another Lukaku, isn't he? He's just going to sit
Yeah.
around and take the money.
Yeah, and Lukaku's on higher wages than him. Lukaku's on 440 grand a week, mate. So they've taken 5 transfer windows to get, and they still haven't got cement boots off the books.
No.
This is my thing, right? Is Jody Morris came out and said something spot on. And he basically said, all these situations that are arising, especially with our Cobham players, all the young players in Cobham will see this, which most of them are wanting to leave anyway, like Rio to Liverpool, who's 14 years old, and a lot of the young'uns are wanting out of Cobham now because there's no pathway whatsoever. He said, all these players out of Chelsea, families out of Chelsea, agents out of Chelsea will all be seeing this. They'll all be talking to each other. It's a very small circle. It's a bad
Of
look.
course.
And one thing Neil Bath, Jim Fraser did was to protect, like you said, Roman protected us.
Yeah.
He had everyone in Chelsea, protecting the young players, protecting Cobham, protecting players and senior players. If some player got out of line, like Lukaku did, ratting on us, yeah, and people were still backing this guy, by the way, right to the season. When he did that interview, after that, I remember being at Villa Park and he scored, yeah. I didn't chant his name. I'd never chanted. No, sorry. That was the last time I chanted his name. When we were playing at Ellen Road at Leeds and he scored that third goal, meaningless goal, I didn't chant, mate. I didn't even clap him. Nothing.
Nah.
Because that's it. You're dead to me.
He's just a
rat us,
mercenary.
you rat us. And my thing is this, right? All the players look at this. All the players see it. And it's no good to have that bad egg in your squad, in your team. But what did Tuchel do? Tuchel protected Roman's investment. And Roman respected him for it. Marina respected him for it because he nipped it in the bud straight away. He got barred for one game and then he started playing him. And he kept playing him and playing him and playing him. If you remember, we played Lyon in the Champions League and he dropped him finally because he was having stinker after stinker.
Yeah.
He put Kai Havertz in false nine. And when Kai scored, you saw Super Tommy T just go fucking like that because he wanted to play Kai. So there was a dictatorship under Roman, granted, but it was only to get the best out of everything. Like, to win. We haven't got that now. And all these players here now are here for their payday. They don't love the club. Does Sterling love our club? No, he don't love us. All right. But you still got a duty to be professional in the game. You know, Meatloaf Bowling City Merchant haven't even spoken to Sterling. haven't even bothered. He's just
I'm
had
not
this
surprised.
gaffer. It's outrageous. Do you think Trev's heard from him?
Yeah.
Then
I'll
the
tell
only
you.
time you hear from him, Steve, is when they sacked Kai Havertz or they sacked Conor Gallagher for the last 2 windows and said to him, "We're selling you to Everton." He said, "What? I ain't going to Everton. Oh, we're selling you to Spurs. Oh, I don't want to go to Spurs." Yeah, this is what they'll do.
Yeah.
People got to respect, right, what they did to Sterling during the season, right? In January, they tried to sell it in Barcelona behind his back. He found out after the transfer window shut. How do you think he feels? And this is my point. There is no loyalty. There's no respect. So where do you want to get the respect from then? Do you think they're going to respect this gaffer who they know is going to be dictated? You telling me Fofana, Disasi, Nkunku, and all the French players all of a sudden love Enzo Fernandez?
No, I mean that's the biggest wrongdoing I think under Clear Lake's 2 and a bit years so far. Bad enough they've made Enzo vice captain, but let alone sort of patting him on the back and sweeping his racial chanting under the rug. You can't forgive that. You know, when you're a racist, all you do is think smarter and you don't say things. He shows he hasn't got the mental capacity to think smart, because when he was relaxed, it was him doing the filming. He was quite happy to sing along with the racial chants.
Yeah.
And by the club are basically ignoring that and patting him on the back and go, you can be captain. It's a disgrace.
It is a disgrace. And Enzo Mascara threw it under the rug as well and goes, "Oh, we made a mistake, but it's all behind us now," and all this jazz. It's a joke. Like, it's a mockery of us. It's embarrassing.
It's terrible. It's just...
I'm sick of being embarrassed, mate. Like, honestly, like, they're turning us into a banter club. And it's like, people just go, yeah, they keep buying players. But, like, what are you buying? What quality? What ilk? What's the process? What profiles are you buying? What are you don't understand football. You're using
it's a scattergun approach, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the wrong approach. You got these mid-directors. Like, what are we doing?
I've seen it
sponsoring and backing these lot for.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it close up. I mean, when I go to Cobham and stuff like that, and it breaks my heart just because you see a lot of the kids where they would all be coming out for their training, and they'd all be buzzing on the hype of, like, you know, we're at Chelsea, we've made it, and they're coming out now and like their heads are down, or they can't walk over to near where the first team was because a lot of the kids in the academy are fans of Chelsea as well. So if they see a Cole Palmer, they'll leg it over and say any chance for an autograph or a selfie, and they're now being pushed away like, no, leave them alone. It's horrible. The whole atmosphere, the vibe of the big family has gone. And you almost feel like you're seeing security guards now keeping players from academy players away from each other. It's horrible.
Yeah, and shout out Nick. He told me last season that they basically told all the employees they're not allowed to speak to the players. And if it is, it's just purely professional, and they want to keep a tight ship. They don't want leaks out.
Yes.
Hence the bin bags and all this nonsense. Yeah, right. Which isn't nonsense. It's nonsense to that people allow that. Even if you're employed, you shouldn't be allowing that dictatorship.
They've got quite a big security presence there at Cobham, which you wouldn't normally have, put it that way.
So, look, do I think they're going to do something and they're going to try and get Sterling off the books, right? And good luck to you if you can get him off the books. What I think he's going to stay and he ain't going nowhere and there's nothing you can do about it. And I think that's going to cause a lot of problems behind the scenes because this is a player that wants to play for England. This is a player that, let's be real, like I said, he's better than what we've got on the left-hand side.
Yes.
It's just Enzo's propping, I've worked with Sterling, he's going to be a massive part of us and this and that, and all of a sudden he's not. You know, he's so dictated, this guy, and that's what scares me and worries me, is that people need to understand, don't blame this guy. He's got no say anyway. Like, if you're going to blame anyone, blame the directors and blame the ownership. In fact, forget the directors. They're yes men. Blame the ownership. And this is what I'm saying. Everyone's asking for unity now and all this crap, right? But
too little, too late.
It's too late. If the old school, all proper Chels, if we make our voices loud enough, if we chant Roman Abramovich, if we chant Super Tommy T, I'm telling you now, they hate it. The ownership hate it. They despise it. It makes their blood boil. Yeah, that's number one. Number two, we have to make our voices heard, because it's not acceptable to sell Connor like this.
No.
It's not acceptable to treat Trev like this and bring us the mid-levels that you're bringing us. It's not acceptable to have Enzo Fernandez as captain as Chelsea.
No.
It's not fucking acceptable to us, Chelsea. It's not.
No,
Why is it? Go on.
No, I was going to say, what you said in that clip you've got when you shouted down at Reece James, this is not Chelsea.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It isn't. And the sooner people realise this is no longer our club, we're fighting to try and save it. And they don't realise how fine a margin it is between us disappearing and suddenly becoming the Chelsea Cubs soccer team and stuff like that. I mean, when was the last time we did any promotions or crap stuff under Roman? It never happened. We was professional. We've got fucking beds at the bridge. We've got them filming stupid things for Todd Bowley's movies. They're just cheapening the name, and they're turning us from what was elite into a laughing stock, and they don't care as long as they're making money.
And that's the point, Steve. This is the message. They don't care. They're making you think they do, but all they care about is us not protesting. That's what they care about. Because that eliminates everything they want to do, which is why we're getting attacked on the channel. It's the one thing. It's the one thing that they have no control over, and they can't use Fabrizio Romano and Paulstein and Toothpick Jacobs, these wrong'uns, that have killed our club. They fucking killed our club. These brown envelopes. They've killed us. I'm not even joking. I'm taking it to a serious level here. They have absolutely destroyed us.
Yep.
In the narrative setting that they put out. Like, that's why I'm blocked from them, because I expose them for what they are. And they feed it down to everyone, all the pies and mash and all these platforms, all these YouTube wrong'uns that come out, pushing it out, believing in it, sponsoring it. You're a fucking disgrace. You're killing our club just as much. I hold them all accountable as well. And then when the Chelsea want to chant Conor Gallagher, you want to cry your eyes out, Liam Gallagher. Piss off, man. What are we doing here? Jog on. It's a joke.
It's hard when you see the way that people are acting and reacting to what is considered proper Chelsea attitude. They're sort of fighting against it. There is no unity. What Clear Lake have done, they've created this fan divide, and too many are in the glass half full section, and it's just not like that. I mean, at the moment, we're in the dregs at the bottom, and until people wake up and they stand up for their club, and the only way, as you say, is protests and things like that, it's got to happen. All we need is a string of bad results. I mean, Maresca's already had one. Let's say we go 10 games without a win. How long is he going to last? We won't be here till Christmas.
No, he won't. And this is the thing, right? We were very lucky last year. Very lucky. And I think it's literally down to Enzo Fernandez having that operation that saved us. I'm not even joking now. I actually think if he continued playing, we wouldn't have made top 6. No chance.
That's pure luck.
It was pure luck. And United fell off a cliff. So did Newcastle, and Villa crept up there, obviously. And Spurs was up there in Europa League. So,
and that was the only good thing. Spurs dropping points is always a good day. I mean, the fact that Vardy scored that goal yesterday, and then he pointed out to them in his own inevitable way how many Premiership titles he's won, that did tickle my fancy, and I can't normally stand Vardy, but I appreciate that one.
Yeah, of course, standard. Anything against them lot, we're happy with it, and we drink them minerals in all day long.
Yeah, Spurs in the mud, love it.
Everyone saw Angie Roo like this, didn't he? He looked like he did, a night out, and he's thinking, "Oh no, if I'm going to have shots now, or I think that'll send me over the edge." That's that little clip there. He's a meme now.
I must admit, when I saw Postecoglou bending over and all that, I had flashbacks of Rory Jennings in Todd Bowley's office.
Oh, what's he getting there, Steve? What's he getting there, mate?
Well, there you go.
He's getting some of these, is he?
Yeah, that's it, mate. He's yeah.
You know what I mean? So, listen, he's pushing out the narrative big time. He's pushing the narrative out. Anti-Clown Lake, and that's great. A little late, but better than never. And everyone on Talk Sport is absolutely killing it, like every day. Even Gab Marcotti, who's very, like, I see him at the bridge all the time, and he's normally quite balanced, but even he was saying you must have a hole in your head if you think Felix is the answer, I
think what Felix has done, he's created a massive headache for Maresca. Because he doesn't know what the hell to do, because he's got his little whiteboard out and he's put all of his players on it, how he's starting off the season, and that's all gone to shit.
Yeah.
Because now Felix is in and he's thinking, hang on, I've just brought Dewsbury Hall in. He's my lad. He ain't going to get a game.
The Dewsbury Hall that he said in pre-season was directing, he's so important because he knows they all want to play. And he's directing the players. You didn't even play him against City, and you didn't even play your formation. You played a 4-3-3, which goes against your whole philosophy. Like,
it was all bollocks.
It doesn't make it make sense. Like, you're either going to play and stick with your system, and we need you to. Like I said in my review, play it. If you lose playing it, at least you're getting the players used to it.
You're sticking with it. You're going for it.
You're going for it. The reality is he knows he hasn't got the players to do it. And now, like you said, it could be, it ain't going to be a Panadol job with Felix. I'll tell you that now. This is going to be one migraine for him, because he's going to be forced to play him. Enzo Fernandez. I can see it now. Enzo, Wrong and Fernandez, Casado and Felix. That's what I see. And then he's going to try and invert Cucurella or Gusto. It's just...
But
it's going to be... Congratulations to Cole Palmer, by the way.
Yes.
He's, young player of the year.
Well deserved.
Baller. Didn't get in the team, though, did he? Didn't get into the...
the all Man City team in there. There must have been a lot of Manx on the old panel.
Yeah. But where's he come from, Steve? This is my point. Like, he's come from the grassroots of City and Pep Guardiola's academy. Yeah. That's what we had with Don Roman, and they've destroyed it. So it's like, we're now well behind. If Roman was still here, we wouldn't be allowing City to dominate like this. We would have been back, no problem.
Oh, right. No. There'd be all-out war declared as soon as the whistle went off at 3:00 on a Saturday.
Let's have it right. So, I look at Cole Palmer, and I'm saying it again. He even came out and said, "I'm going to do my best to." What did he say exactly? Almost like carry Chelsea, in other words.
Yeah.
Which he will.
Well, the lad.
Yeah, he does. And I think he's a baller, but I'm worried he signed a 2-year extension. And it's the thing, all these players want these 8-year deals because there's money in the bank done. And if, they're happy. They're made for life, these young kids.
Yeah, it takes away their desire, because let's face it, when you sign a normal contract, 3-4 years with maybe a 1-year extension, you play for it. You think, right, I need to improve, because come 3 years, they're going to want to redo my contract. They give them an 8-year one. They can just have a stinker for 8 years. I think I'm still getting 150 grand a week. They don't care.
They don't care. They absolutely don't care. And this is the problem. Motivation, incentive. You're meant to have that, You're meant to have that as a player. Every player that comes, and Mikel spoke on it beautifully and says, we were bringing players, Ballack, Decos, to strengthen us, to improve us, to keep the levels up. We're not doing that. We're weakening. We're downgrading everywhere. And it's come out recently. Newcastle, we know, are after Madueke, but the Pawnstein's come out and says Newcastle have expressed an interest in Chelsea defender Disasi. So you can clearly see that they're trying to get rid of all the players that are anti-Enzo. Let's have it right. And they're also they're trying to get rid of a player and make profit on him. By the way, that's Carrot Eamon Stanley, Stuart Little's player, Badishile and Disarcy.
Because they wanted them because of their former partnership from their previous French club.
Yeah.
Which obviously that's gone all Pete Tong anyway.
Yeah. So, listen, too many players competing for the same position and not buying right profiles, right balances, right blends, right cores, understanding football, building with a gaffer. But this guy's not a gaffer.
No.
He's a yes man. So the model is the gaffer. As I've always said it for about 2 years, I've said to you, the model's the gaffer. That's it. And this model is not right. It's not built for football. You know?
Yeah. I mean, 100%. And one thing I wanted to say, I mean, quickly, going off topic, just while I thought of it, is also a congrats to the women's team who landed the minerals.
Yeah.
They went out there and played against Batman's mob, Gotham, and they stuffed them. And rightly so. Sonia Baptista's starting off in the right ilk, following on from Emma. I mean, they're doing things right. God knows why the men's team ain't, but there you go.
Because the women's team is not at that level, or the women's game is not at that financial level where they want to, they think they can make a lot of money in it. And that's the reason they've left it untouched, although they haven't. I mean, Emma Hayes, we know what happened with Emma Hayes.
Yes, say no more.
You know, so...
I mean, that stings, that does, Emma. I mean, that'll always be an open wound.
She never wanted to leave, end of. Like, she was Chelsea all the way for the rest of her career. And she wouldn't manage another club again. So, that's why she's gone to the States and she still landed her gold medal because she's got golden fucking Chelsea mineral. So,
I mean, there was a bad injury as well yesterday because Erin Cuthbert got hurt as well and she had to leave the pitch on crutches. So, that was not nice to see.
not nice. I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at Curse's comment. He says the women's team don't have the cum shot, the men's team does. You know what I'm saying? Trust the cum shot. Like I say, women's team, they're gonna evolve as they should, organically and rightly so. And that game, once it starts making money, they'll be on it.
This is why they sold them and they've invested in them now, knowing that if they do start turning over a decent amount of money, they'll be right in the driving seat of raping it of every pound they know they can out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Right, I want to very quickly. Is everyone smashing that like button? I want everyone to smash the like button. If you haven't already, smash it. Hit the subscribe as well. Trev Chalobah could submit a constructive dismissal claim. Go on, Trev. Basically, get in there, son. We're behind you on here. He knows that. Trev knows we're behind him.
My heart bleeds for that kid. It really does. He's Chelsea so through and through. He's religious. He thanks Jesus every day for being alive. And what they've done to him really does go against the grain.
It's disgusting, and it's unforgivable, really.
Yeah.
Chelsea defender Trev, he submit a claim for constructive dismissal after he's been banned from the club's first team facilities. Now, this guy, Stefan Borson, who everyone's got an agenda because he was talking about FFP with us and all this stuff. He's the one that goes on Talk Sport. He's well known for it. He says, reported on the 10th of August, the 25-year-old has joined Lukaku and Broha in being barred from Chelsea's first team training. It's claimed a similar treatment is also applied to Conor Gallagher, who is still waiting for his Atletico Madrid move. So he's got an insider's revealed that there is interest from Villa, Fulham, and Crystal Palace, but I just don't think Trev wants to go there. So the PFA have quite frequently got involved in cases like this before. He says, on the face of it, there certainly looks to be potential for a claim for constructive dismissal. They are certainly making it very hard for him to perform his trade as per his contract, if it's true. Clearly, nobody wants to go down that route, and the last thing that a player wants is to end up effectively not turning up to work and trying to claim that Chelsea have breached their contract, which they basically have. If that goes wrong down the line, whoever signs Chalobah could be liable for paying some quite considerable compensation for, or Chalobah himself could be liable for paying compensation back to Chelsea, especially if you say his value is 20, 25 million. It's quite a risky situation, but on the face of it, you can't start effectively disenfranchising certain players by banning them from certain areas of their workplace and guaranteeing that they can't play football to the standard to which they are employed. And the funny thing is, right, is that I don't think Trev will go down that route because it might, like it says, hinder his future club or wherever he goes. But clearly he knows that he's got no chance of breaking it in. They are outright forcing him out. And if they get an offer, like a concrete offer, they are going to do everything in their power to get him off the books. Now, Tuchel played this player, rated Trev highly. Trevor's won with us. Trev would do, like I said, in the Carabao Cup final against Liverpool, Nketiah went down his groin. He had stitches there at half time, came out, played extra time, and took a penalty and scored it. None of these players in this squad right now got their minerals. And, you know, this is why it upsets me that Trevor's getting this treatment. It's just he's a baller, man. Like he's learnt off Silva as well.
Exactly. You know, when you want to be a class defender, you have to have a mentor. Now, Trev had Silva. Silva was beyond reproach as the main man. People also think JT was born a defender. He wasn't. He learnt from Marcel Desailly and Frank Leboeuf and people like that were all in the back line with him. And he knew Ricardo Gavalio. You know, there were so many strong players that guided him and turned him into the player he became. At Chelsea now, we have kids teaching kids. It's like sending your kids to school without a teacher. What they're going to learn? They're going to sit there throwing paper airplanes at each other all day.
And that's the thing, Steve, right? Is when you don't have leadership, and Trev is a senior player compared to what we got, right? And he's experienced as well. He's played Champions League football. He's played finals. He's won. Did he win the Super Cup with us? I'm sure he did. I think he played. Is it Club World Cup or Super Cup? He won with us, right? He's part of Roman era. He's grown up through grassroots of Chelsea and the DNA Chelsea, and he's exactly the missing piece in the back line that we need, right? Now, when you don't have experience in the team, who are these young kids looking up to? Like Enzo Mascara at Leicester, he had Vardy in that team. He had Harry Winks with experience. When they went through that rough patch and almost bottled that championship, 17-point lead, who did the team talk? Jamie Vardy. Who's leading these younger players or the players in the squad? The experienced veterans. We ain't got that. So where is the development path? Where? How you can't tell me, if Kante, Kovacic, Mount, and all these guys, Thiago Silva, another example, are all in the squad, all right, that all these young players are not going to learn from them. Are you joking me? Casado wanted to sign for Chelsea because of N'Golo Kante, but he didn't give him the chance to learn off him for 1 season or 2 seasons. This is the problem. So
you've also got to think when Clear Lake came in, what players were already at Chelsea. So the players that were coming in, the youngsters, think, oh, I know him. He's a good player. We had Aspilicueta and people like that, which are all masters of their game. And they came in and suddenly they've all gone. Oh, well, the person I was going to learn from has now gone. Let's speak to him. And it's like we have individual players. We don't have a team. Our defence is so wide open. It's like Katie Price on date night. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. And this is the thing. We are literally just every game we watched last season, when it's the big teams, you're still relying on individual brilliance, but we raise our levels. When we play lesser teams, it's like we match their levels. We like it's such a weird dynamic, but that's because these players haven't got consistency. They haven't got
Yeah.
experience. They don't have leadership. They don't have like we had Lamps, Drogba, Terry, check spine. You know, always in the team. And Carragher make a great point. He says in a squad you have 5 players, roughly 6. You know, are starting every game no matter what. That's your kind of spine. Then around that you've got players fighting for positions, yeah, of different quality, where they might get in, they might not get in, and then added to that is your younger players that are learning, building, understanding the system, the mentality, being in the dressing room, the culture of the club. That's the blueprint. It's the proven blueprint. And with that comes experience, young winning experience, and youth. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand that. You don't have to be Einstein, all right? So what the fuck do these clowns think they're doing here? Because it's all NFL, Moneyball, MLS, and we know best, and you're going to do as we say, not as we do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I mean, we know that they're good at making money, but they are not football people. They've come into Chelsea only to treat it as a business to make money. And until all of the fan base realise that that is all they're interested in, they couldn't give a toss if we win or not. I mean, we've still got no front of shirt sponsor, which is a joke after the second season in a row. Even after we signed Felix, suddenly all of the talk of Osimhen dropped off the face of the earth because they knew we've got the one signing. Now, for me, Osimhen was never the answer for Chelsea anyway. He's a decent striker, and we'll take him. But out of the choice of him or Tony, I would have Tony every time because we won't lose Tony to AFCON every time that's on. He's cheaper wages. He's cheaper to buy. He's got that edge about him, and he's a big, scary striker. People don't like him because they don't know what to expect. He, for me, would have been Diego Costa Mark II. And if we do sign a striker, I pray it's him and not Osimhen.
Yeah, and I think Osimhen comes with Serie A tax. It'll be problematic if it doesn't go well. And that's a great point. And I agree with that. I do agree with that. It's less risk, like we said at the start of the stream. And I think also I want to land these minerals here.
Go for it.
They always say it's Meatloaf Bailey, but it's not. It's Clown Lake. Clown Lake have spent more as Chelsea's owners in the last few seasons than Everton have in their entire history, mate. Right? They're breaking these sort of records.
Not the records we want to be breaking.
No, not the records we want to be breaking. Absolutely not. It's just all over the gaff. It's all over the gaff. And the PR is insane, mate. It's just, I've never seen anything like it ever. I mean, this is what you call generational, world-class, elite PR.
100%.
Serve up. It's mental.
It was never a part of my day, which I'm glad to say. I know to some of you guys out there in the chat, you may think, I'm an old geezer, etc., or whatever. But it's not how it was. This is not Chelsea. It is just totally about face. It's the respect has gone.
Let's have it right. It's exactly as we call it.
This is not Chelsea!
100%.
You know what I'm saying? That is it. I want everyone to smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. I want to say thank you to everyone watching and supporting the channel. I want you all put your respects for Steve in the chat as well. Landing facts. It's been an epic show, and more to come, Steve. And anything you like want to sort of like want to say before we
Yeah. Well, firstly, I want to say thanks for having me on, and it's a privilege to be on the channel with you. I respect what you're doing. You're keeping the true narrative alive, which is hard work. People don't realise how much of Johnny's own time he has to take researching his facts, so that when he does a stream like this, he's giving you the truth. You're not hearing crap that's recycled and copy and pasted just for the sake of it. So there's a lot of respect goes out from myself, my lads. I speak for a good bunch of old school Chelsea fans, and we all respect what Johnny does, and especially you guys out there in the chat. I mean, I'm one of you. I sit there and I often read through the chat when Johnny's live streaming, either on his own or with Eunice, etc. And I really enjoy it. And it's just lovely to see positive, real Chelsea talk and not bullshit.
I respect that. Means a lot. And yeah, we need more old school Chelsea on the channel, man. That's what we need. We need a panel of proper Chelsea ultras.
Careful what you wish for, son.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. No one comes on this channel. Very rare. I've got Eunice, who's going to come on very soon. We're going to do a show and a regular thing. And big up to Eunice, because he's landing minerals, and yourself. You know, respect to everyone supporting the channel, and we'll continue to land the damn minerals. I'm going to quickly run through some of the super minerals landed that I completely forgot before we wrap it up. A big up Adam Rated. He's gifted 5 Minerals FC Ultra members. Respect to you, my geezer.
He's a top guy. I often see him donating memberships. Full respect to him.
Respect to him, man. And salute to Don Roman. Let's go. Big up to you, Adam. Thank you, mate, for supporting. Big up Brian. Says you clownlex don't even know what you bought. Facts. He says blaming Roman for receipts, you clowns. Dug up is pathetic. You're not wrong. And it's not just that they're pathetic. We got the pathetic as well, pushing that narrative. He says you clownlex don't know what you're doing. Let's have it right. And the incentive is bonuses if they do well. And I agree with that guy, and I do agree with that. They're trying to get players to have an incentive to do well to get more money, but that can only stretch as far as it can go, and it's not enough in what they're building, as far as I'm concerned anyway. You know, it's going to take time, and they haven't got that time. You don't get time. Big up to Chris Wood to Arsenal. He's a Minerals FC Ultra for 2 months. He said, instead of Roman, because he always humiliated my club, for my membership, chat, can you land some failed actor Jennings instead?
Yeah, my man.
Let's land it then. Come on. You'll get the failed actor Jennings, my geezer. Come on.
Quality.
Big up.
Greetings from Centre Parks, by the way. That's the background. Greetings from Centre Parks, by the way.
Don't even know if it's come out.
That's the background. I hope you're all well. This is just ridiculous, though, isn't it?
There you go, my geezer. Respect to you, and thank you for becoming an ultra, bruv. Respect to everyone in the chat. Always supporting. Respect to everyone here. And I want you to smash your like button. I want you to put all your comments down below. Give your feedback. You know what I'm saying? Comments are class. You know what I'm saying? You keep pushing that narrative out. But big up to everyone in here. Respect to you, Steve, for landing your damn minerals on here and bringing your heritage to the channel, and everyone that's supporting. We're going to leave you with Don Roman. Let's have it right. As always, up the Chelsea, up the Minerals FC. Let's go. We'll move.
No surrender.
No surrender. Let's have it right.